The 2023-24 college basketball season starts right now. Season 4 of Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers. We're bringing you all of the off-season content that you need, and then we're going to do as much in-season content as possible. Jonathan and I, we've talked about doing streams daily. The odds of that happening very
during the
low.
season, very very slim. But
Very low,
we'll try
but
to make it work.
We're going to get a lot of great guests for you that you recognize from your timeline on Twitter, on all social media platforms this offseason. TJ, CVB content, you're first. How does it feel to be the first person to join Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers as a guest for season 4?
Feels great. You might want to take that hat off, though, before we continue. I just can't look at that. Just can't.
You know what? I got the shirt on, too. So, you know what?
I thought you were a Syracuse fan.
Going to Syracuse. Been a UConn fan forever.
Really?
Yes.
You've been a UConn fan?
Yes. Since I was 3 years old.
Have you been shamed for rooting for both?
Mostly by people that don't support either school, ironically.
Okay, that's weird. I feel like older people would.
I haven't really interacted with older people
about that.
I mean, I think people that have seen me on UConn Twitter like saw that I was going to Syracuse, and they're like, "Hey, that's nice." And I haven't really interacted with anyone on Syracuse Twitter yet.
Hold up. So, do you know who? Since you're a UConn fan, what's his name? The guy from Texas, A&M. Does he play?
Javonte Brown.
No.
Oh, Diarra?
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays. He's great. Great defensive point guard.
Dude, I was watching the entire tournament. I didn't see him,
he didn't play much in the tournament because he doesn't give much offensively, but he was a big spark plug defensively for a lot of the year.
Is he starting next year?
Is he starting? Probably not.
They'll get someone to take.
Yeah, we'll discuss that because
right now he's starting on your.
Yeah, as of right now, I have him starting, but I think that'll end up being a certain transfer from a certain CAA school.
CAA.
Yeah, Nick Timberlake. No, it's not happening.
Kansas for UNC, and I don't really. I think he's good, but
I mean, he could start like
a little bit of a.
With the amount of depth UConn's going to have, it's not going to be a problem.
I don't know. The guy's a little like. I hope he doesn't listen to this, but he's a little overhyped right now.
All right, we've got a lot of off-season stuff to get into right now. It's the Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers off-season database that you can find. It's pinned on Jonathan's Twitter. It will contain all of our rankings, mine, Jonathan's, and Jonathan's younger brother as well. Jonathan will make his coach rankings on there. Always.
Yeah, that'll be done in June, probably.
I'm sure TJ, you remember those.
That again, bro. That again.
That was a fun couple days last year.
Yep, I remember. I was at like, I don't hang out with friends at their houses very often, but the one time I did last summer, before like I had to do all like the baseball stuff and soccer stuff, my phone was blowing up with mentions from Auburn fans because you tagged me in that post.
Yeah, that's a better spot to be than where I was. I was working at camp, so while that happened.
You can also find my freshman rankings, and we're gonna get into that because TJ, you're a USC fan, and
yes, sir.
Well, we have a certain USC player that we're big fans of here on Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers.
I wonder who it is, man.
Yeah, I really wonder who it is. It's definitely I don't know the bench warmers for USC, so I can't make that joke.
You don't know. You can't name one bench player in USC from this past year?
Bench warmer.
Oh.
That was the joke. I also usually go to bed at like 11, not 3. So
yeah, we figured that out. We figured that out from the streams during Champ Week.
Yeah. Okay. Look, remember East Coast. There will also be an article coming relatively soon on Mid-Major Madness, where I will attempt to get quotes from a variety of different coaches around the college basketball landscape. Just quick quotes and just do a very quick synopsis of every mid-major head coaching hire from this offseason. I pitched it today, and I think we're going to get it up within the next week. So with housekeeping over, let's talk about the biggest coaching changes in college basketball this year, because we talked about it a little, we touched on it, but now we've really got to talk about it. And the biggest coaching change that we have to start with is obviously Ed Cooley jumping ship from Providence to Georgetown. I don't think we got into this deep enough. There are some serious plot lines here.
Yeah, I'll start. You obviously you have the whole Twitter beef with a bunch of different people that went on back and forth between Goodman and Barstool and stuff like that. And like, first of all, like Georgetown's a better job. Anyone that like knows anything about college basketball knows that Georgetown's a better job than Providence, from resources to NIL,
Facilities,
history.
location.
It's just like Providence. I think what Cooley did at Providence was probably their ceiling, and I don't blame him for jumping ship at all. With that being said, Georgetown's roster at the moment is very much incomplete, and it needs some serious work with these last like four scholarships
it needs
they have.
a certain DMV native center.
Yeah, they could definitely use him, but they have 4 scholarships unfilled right now, and those need to be used very wisely for them to be a tournament team next year.
Oh yeah, I also want to shout what's his name? What's the guy's name again?
Who?
Who are you referring to?
Yeah, who?
I think here the guy that makes the spreadsheet. Andrew Parrish. Andrew Parrish
Yeah.
on Twitter. He has
I haven't closed that since I found
this
it.
incredible. I sent it to you.
Where is it?
It is an scholarship tracker. It tracks every team's scholarships.
Where is it? Andrew Parrish?
I can drop the link in the chat right now.
By the way, I don't know if I agree that Georgetown's a better job right now.
Why's that?
Like, I mean,
because
sure,
because they sucked.
the resources are better, but like,
there's no fan base right now.
It's like they play in Capital One Arena, and it's like,
it's an NBA facility, but when it's empty, you can see how empty it is. It is a 20,000 seat arena, and they were getting what 4,000 fans a game last year.
Yeah, there was nobody.
Was really, really bad.
Okay,
and
sure.
Providence, Ed Cooley is Mr. Providence. He lived in Providence for 54 years. He had kids. They grew up in Providence. He went to Stonehill, which is not far from Providence. He coached at Fairfield, and I believe he still lived in Providence for a lot of that time when he coached at Fairfield. He is a Providence true blue, true black. I mean, they wear the color black. He bleeds Providence Friars, and it was his dream job. But sometimes you've seen it to the end, and I get it. I also get the reaction from Providence fans. I think that their reaction of being really angry is very justified. It would not sit well with me if my coach left to go to a conference rival it's not been very good recently.
I don't think it's because he left. I just think it's because the way he did it was like the team looked like I picked Providence to go to the Elite Eight this year. That was one of my worst picks because I thought they were going to make a run. They had that East region. I thought it was going to be. I mean, it was one of the.
And by the way, if they made it to the Sweet 16, oh boy, that would have been a lot of Providence fans.
Yeah, that's why, because it was going to be an MSU. That's why I picked them to beat. I had them beating Michigan State in the Sweet 16. I don't know, not bad, but the team just looked. When I watched them play Kentucky, they kind of looked like checked out in a way. I don't know.
They were aphysical in that game. Oscar Tshiebwe had how many rebounds? 26.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah,
but yeah. I think TJ, you hit it on the head. They were done at the end of the season.
Yeah,
I think
totally non-existent effort.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple games that they just looked totally out of towards the end of the season. The Seton Hall game, oh my God. They got rocked on their own senior night by a team that didn't even make the NCAA tournament.
Speaking of Seton Hall, do you guys like what that Holloway's doing or no?
Yeah.
I'm not really.
I mean, I will, as a MAC guy, as the resident MAC guy, I will always vouch for Shaheen Holloway because I've seen what he can do building a program. What he did at St. Peter's, not just making the Elite Eight, but building a consistently high-level MAC basketball team with the resources and facilities that he had at St. Peter's. Unbelievable what he did there. I would trust Shaheen Holloway to build any program in the country.
I just think that year one for him, they didn't really have like he had no shot creators last year, and whether
Right,
that like
He also didn't have shooters, not just no shot
part of
creators,
that
he didn't have
part of that
shooters.
yeah that falls on him for like not making those additions with the portal, but I think that like Shaheem came into year one with the idea that I'm gonna establish this identity this year, and we're gonna show people like what Seton Hall is going to be, like what kind of program they're gonna run, what style they're gonna play, and I think for the most part they did that, but they just were not a good team.
Yeah, I think I think you hit the nail on the head there. To use the same exact metaphor you did. And look, I think the transfers that he brought in were probably their best players: Nadefo, Odakali, and Alamir Dawes. You could argue those were their 3 best players last year.
Kaderi was not as good as I thought he was going
Wait,
to be.
Kaderi Richmond, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very
How are
good.
his stats looking? I'm gonna look him up right now.
He was solid this year, but
I didn't watch one Seton Hall game. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I didn't watch a single one.
I mean, I obviously had to watch a lot of them because Big East and Shaheen and they're local. But again, Seton Hall and Rutgers, they played that. You probably watched that game. It was 45-43 at the rack. Seton Hall went into the rack and won. Remember that. Not a lot of teams do that.
Guess who else went into the rack and won? The Northwestern Wildcats, baby.
Yes.
Let's go.
Northwestern was a really good team last year.
Hey, I honestly think I don't want to get into the Big Ten yet, but I think they could be even better next year, depending on Bowie and Audige.
If Bowie and Audige come back, they're definitely a preseason top 25.
We'll see.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Seton Hall, they had a lot of like length, but not a lot of shot creation. Seton Hall kind of played like a Rutgers team this year.
Yeah, I didn't really watch enough Seton Hall basketball to talk about it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It was
I probably watched them 3 or 4 times.
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I can name probably like 5 players on their roster too, and I watch like a bunch of college basketball.
That's fine. I mean, they were a non-factor in the Big East all
They
year.
got Alamir Dawes from Clemson, right? Kaderi
Yep.
Richmond from Q's, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he was there for a couple years, but originally by Q's.
Yeah, and then they got
Kid that just entered the portal.
Davis.
What'd you say?
Dre Davis, is that his name?
Yeah, Dre Davis. They got him from
And then
Louisville.
what's he?
Odakali from Pitt, Nadefo from St. Peter's.
Yeah, what happened to Casey Nadefo? Is he gone after this year?
Yeah, he's gone. This was his 5th year, and he was really good this year. He was probably, in my opinion, he was their best player.
He was probably the best defensive player that they used this year.
It was Andre Jackson, Casey Nadefo, Klingon, and
Bias.
and Kalkbrenner.
Bias right there.
I watched all the UConn games. You watched UConn a lot too. You can't tell me Jackson and Klingon aren't elite defenders.
No, they are. I was kidding. Jackson, I'm a big fan of him because I just like
Andre's my favorite UConn player since Shabazz Napier.
Yeah, he was just a high like a high 4-star, and the way he plays, I love how he's all over the floor. He's not just like going out there to get stats for I don't know. Well, I mean, he does have stats, but I'm saying like
Points.
not just stat padding with points. Yeah, just like the way he plays.
Yep. We'll talk about Andre and whether he's coming back or not. Why don't we hop in and talk about that right now? Because UConn's going to be a top 5 team entering next season on pretty much everybody.
They're not going back to back though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think people really it's really hard to go back to back. I mean, obviously North Carolina, the big storyline was them defending the title they didn't win.
I think UConn and UNC are a little different because UNC had a couple of the most overrated players I've ever watched.
I agree.
Basketball.
But my point is that it's
One of them
really
being
hard.
Caleb Love.
Yes. My point is it's really hard to win 2 tournaments in a row. There's a reason nobody's done it since the literal head coach was Billy Donovan, and the players were Joakim Noah, Corey Brewer, and Al Horford. 3 guys and Chandler Parsons. 3 guys who had 4 guys who had decade-long NBA careers. That's Al Horford is probably not going to make the Hall of Fame, but he's pretty darn close.
Yeah.
Joakim Noah won a Defensive Player of the Year. Chandler Parsons signed like a $85 million contract before a lot of people did that. Corey Brewer dropped 50 in a game.
Yeah.
That's about as much as I can say about Corey Brewer.
I was gonna say.
Corey Brewer. I haven't heard that dude's name in a long
Yeah,
ass.
but like that was a Florida team that was unbelievably stacked, and that was the last team to win back to back.
But
Kentucky
the thing is,
didn't. Kentucky never won back to back with all the talent they had. They only won once in the last decade with all the
for
talent they had.
UConn though, like, do we think Sonogo is gonna like do something or Klingon? Because like,
Klingon's coming back. He already announced that.
no, I know, but I'm saying like, it's just weird when you have like, if they're gonna have Donovan Klingon, who's supposed to be like a projected first round pick coming off the bench. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thing. I think UConn's fine at the 5 spot, regardless of whether Sonogo comes back. As long as they, like, depending on how good Yusuf Sangare looks, or if they bring in a transfer, I think Dan Hurley has earned the
Wait.
trust.
How can they bring in a transfer? They're like 4 spots over the scholarship.
It depends on who leaves.
So that's why I'm thinking that.
Like if Sonogo, if like Sonogo leaves, if Newton leaves,
Yeah, we gotta
and, like,
remember. We
there-
gotta
there's a-
remember that like
and
they
remember-
played in a national championship game. Like their whole process is going to be much later than everyone else.
yeah, Richie
Yeah.
Springs could leave. Hassan and Ramaglu might not be back. They could get cut off. Johnson could leave. Like there's a lot of guys that could leave.
I'll tell you what, that class that they got coming in it's unreal.
I think it's probably up there with like the Dukes and Kentucky's as the best.
It's
classes.
you could argue it's better than Duke now without Mbeka.
And I'm saying for like the fact that Stephon Castle's a top 5 player in the class for me.
How did they pull that off, by the way? Stephon Castle. He's from Georgia, right?
Ray Allen was from South Carolina.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just like,
I mean, how did USC get Isaiah Collier?
because it's simple, but it's not really. It's just because Andy Enfield was like, he's basically like selling all the recruits he got this year on the fact that they're going back to that FGCU Dunk City style. So
Oh, yeah,
Isaiah Collier,
I didn't tell you about this. When I was on the road in Jersey last week, Jonathan, I told you about this, right?
Keep going. You may have.
I saw a car. These were the
Yes,
bumpers.
you did. You did.
FGCU, USC, and Seton Hall. I was like, is that Andy Enfield driving in
Wait.
New Jersey? Who else would have an FGCU and USC bumper sticker on their car?
that is really weird. I'm not
And
sure.
Andy Enfield's kids.
Maybe
Seton Hall too. I think Andy Enfield had like a connection.
Oh my God.
I'm looking it up.
There's that I saw it on the road and I'm like, is that Andy Enfield or something? Because like there's no way anyone else would have FGCU. And
Maybe his connection was just the fact that he was like rumored for the job at one point. I don't know if he actually does.
regardless,
He's an East Coast guy, I think. So
regardless of that, I think overall it's really hard to win back to back.
let's see,
And
he's from Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. Andy
Mhm.
Enfield.
yeah, it's
Um,
really, really hard to win back to back titles.
Yeah.
But again, I think Dan Hurley has earned the trust in terms of player development, in terms of game planning, in terms of play calling, where you can still reliably say UConn is going to be a top 5, top 10 team in the country next year.
dude, I
Yeah,
did not.
I mean,
I didn't
we'll
start
see.
that.
We'll see how they kind of change it up because like the action they ran with Hawkins this year was just so hard to defend.
Yeah, you can't run that.
And they don't really have
anyone.
like they don't have a player on their roster right now that can even come close to like.
There's
Sanders.
also not a player in college basketball that can do that.
no,
So like I think
not
That's
yeah. Nobody has Jordan Hawkins release. Like,
that's
it's
what
so
made
quick.
them national champions. But again, they might not be national champions, and that's okay. I think people overreact to teams that are very good but don't win the national championships. I call it the Gonzaga paradox.
Yeah.
It's basically your season is automatically considered a failure if you don't win a title for a lot of people, which I don't get. I think that being a really good team all year, even if you lose early, if you lose like the second round or the Sweet 16, if you get like a Purdue FDU upset, then yeah, screw that. But like if you lose to a good team in the second round or a good team in the Sweet 16 or Elite 8, it doesn't take away the season that you had. It doesn't mean that you had a bad season or
Yeah.
a failure. Like
Staying
I think
on the Big East though, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going with this, and I was going to the same place.
Where were you going?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
I actually wasn't going to go there, but that's an interesting topic. Hold on that. Hold on one sec. I just have a question about what you guys think of what Rick Pitino's doing. How do you lose on Walter Clayton like that? I'm sorry. Like, I get that's his hometown, home state school, but like, how do you not convince him to follow you to like a Power 5 school?
Have you been to Carnesecca Arena?
Yeah, I know it's a dump.
Yeah.
Fun fact. When I was in New York, I was trying to like, this is like a couple years, maybe like 4 years ago. When I was younger, I was trying to like find like we had nothing to do, so I was trying to tell my dad to take me to like St. John's, like the arena. He literally could not find it on his Google Map directions. I was like, "Where the hell is St. John's? I know it's in Queens, but like where's
it that bad, Sam?
I went there. I sent you the picture of how much legroom I had.
You also texted me the entire time complaining. So.
Yes.
St. John's.
That was the day of Ohio State, Michigan football.
I'm not gonna lie, St. John's is a really interesting school.
It's not a desirable location anymore. I mean, New York kids, like, you don't need to play in New York. You can play, and let's be honest here. The best New York kids at this point, they're not always the best players in the country like they've been in the past. There's so much. Marquise Noel, yeah, but I mean, look,
Chicago's kind of the same way.
Yeah,
like there's no one city that's like a reliable best basketball players are always coming from here.
No,
honestly,
it's areas now.
Honestly, the best basketball region in the country right now is the DMV.
Not even close.
Like the DMV is the best basketball region in the country.
Yeah, it's not even close, and that's why like it's smart that like Maryland and Georgetown go out and make the hires that they did.
Yep, you got to get guys.
I'd say that I don't know that Georgia area is pretty.
Georgia is becoming a very good basketball area.
Atlanta's becoming a hub. Seattle's becoming a hub.
The thing with Georgia is Dallas always try to prioritize football.
Yeah,
Dallas is becoming a hub as well. There's been some really, really good high school public teams.
What's a city or like area that's kind of fallen off? I'm trying to think.
LA.
I wouldn't.
They had Paul Pierce,
I don't think we can make a judgment on LA because it's all like in California. It's all like prep schools now and stuff. They're not actually players coming straight from there.
Low key, I feel like St. Louis hasn't had anyone in forever.
Yeah, St. Louis. Besides like the shot chucker himself, Caleb Love. Like who have they?
I mean, Tatum was from St. Louis.
That's it.
Yeah, but like Tatum was a little bit ago.
I mean. There's Boston's really not been great in terms of developing talent. I mean, Terrence Clark, may he rest in peace. That was like probably the best, most recent guy.
Thinking about it, yeah. I'm trying to think. Who else has come out of that area? Boston.
I mean, Filipowski went to school up there. I think.
Where's Filipowski?
Yeah, he played for an AAU team out of New York.
Yeah,
like the Renaissance, right?
Yeah, the Renaissance. Yeah. But either way, we'll move back to that. We have to talk about some more possible transfers. Let's go. We talked about this a little bit on championship night. We went over it a little, but there's been some more players that have entered the portal since then. And we have TJ here, and he can also provide some insight on these guys.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a lot about a lot of guys. Let's go down this list. Aaron Estrada from Hofstra. TJ, what do you think of him?
I think I love the way that guy plays. I think he's going to Cincinnati, so I can't confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that's where the buzz is right now. What do you guys think of that destination?
Yeah, I think that if Wes Miller can get that done, he gets himself a bona fide number one guy, and all conference immediately steps in, and he's an all Big 12 player. Yeah. I think he could be. I mean, like the Big 12 would be so fun for me next year because you get Estrada from Hofstra, you get Jose and Omar from Manhattan at West Virginia. Right. I know Noah Thomason doesn't have a visit scheduled with the Big 12 team, but he has a lot of Big 12 interest.
Yeah, Sam, I texted you about Estrada the other day just because I was watching him doing a piece on his interest and stuff like that. Like he's just he's a super complete player. Really doesn't have any weaknesses to his game, and there are a lot of a lot of elite strengths too.
Yeah, he's an
I'd
awesome
almost go
playmaker.
out on a limb and say like he could be a top like 15, 20 player in the country next
Yeah, I
year.
mean, I was on this last year. I had him in my top 100 last season.
And like this year compared to last, he's kind of
He was better.
He's gone more into a role like scoring the ball, and as passing's decreased a little, but he's still an elite passer.
Yeah, and I think the thing about Estrada is that he realized,
All right, I'm back.
like, I think Hofstra came into 2021, 22. They didn't really know what the like what their team would look like the full season. Like, they thought Estrada would be really. They also thought Zach Cooks would be great. They thought Silverio. They had a lot of guys. This year they came into the season and they knew Aaron Estrada was going to be the conference player because he was the conference player of the year, and he embraced that role, and he was the conference player of the year again. And they bring in Tyler Thomas from Sacred Heart, and he was excellent. He made my, I believe, second team all Met for the MBWA Writers ballot, which is regional. And Estrada is my winner of the Haggerty Award, Hofstra's first Haggerty Award, I believe, ever for best player in the region.
I couldn't believe this one. I didn't even know that Aaron Estrada played at St. Peter's.
He did, and that's why I initially thought Seton Hall would be in the mix.
I knew he transferred to Oregon, but I thought it was from another school. I had no idea St. Peter's was where he came.
Yep, he was MAC Rookie of the Year.
I think we have to just kind of understand right now that like Cincinnati is like, now that they're in the Big 12 and Wes is the coach there, like they're a pretty desirable place for recruits. Like they're in on a lot of these top 2024 guys, and basically like I think that like Houston is obviously like Big 12 ready, and they have been for a long time.
But Cincinnati, UCF, these are schools that really need to pick it up, and obviously BYU as well.
UCF and BYU are a little behind.
But UCF is ahead of BYU, I would say.
I don't know about that.
I'm not sure if they have a better coach, but they've been in on a lot of big transfers.
I love Johnny Dawkins because of what he did at Stanford and the fact that he's a Duke guy, but UCF needs to just probably find a real basketball coach, or not a real basketball coach. That's the wrong wording, but a Big 12 caliber basketball.
Yeah,
coach.
And that's what I said last year. I said last year, they need to go into the Big 12 with a better basketball coach than Johnny Dawkins, and they're not. And it's going to be their loss. It's going to be.
Wait, who are we talking about? I don't mean to interrupt.
UCF.
UCF.
How did we get to UCF?
Because they're joining the Big 12. Yeah, but
yeah,
we go on a lot of.
Sorry, I'm dealing with my phone. My parents are trying to figure it out.
I get it.
It's all fucked
back
up.
to the transfers. Abu Usman, he's a guy from the Northeast. I believe he's a Brooklyn native. He wants to come back home somewhere in the Northeast. He's from North Texas. He's a great defensive big man.
Seton Hall's been rumored, I saw.
Yes. He's Abu Usman. He's visiting Syracuse, I believe.
Who?
North Texas kid.
Oh, I know who that is. Yeah,
like 12-point a game guy at North Texas this year.
Yeah, just a really good defensive big man.
He was their best player outside of Tyler Perry.
You know what's interesting about Perry is he's not even like he hasn't scheduled any visit to Texas Tech.
I think
he visited Florida, right? Or at least he's planning.
Yeah, he visited Florida the other day.
He's going to Alabama and Arkansas. Maybe Arkansas is done.
I think it's clear he wants to go to the SEC then.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that he's not following McCaslin.
Yeah,
I think's a good coach, but we'll see how he does it in the Big 12.
Yeah, I agree. He's a great coach. I think I had him in my top 25, my initial top 25 rankings. But again, some guys, they'll play for a coach and they just want another chapter. Mm-hmm. Walter Clayton Jr. is a prime example of this. You don't just because you have a great coach doesn't mean that you have to stay with him. There's a lot of really good coaches in college basketball.
Dude, I can't believe that Walter Clayton decided to announce his commitment with Jeff Goodblum. Like, are you kidding me?
I mean,
Jeff Goodblum,
hey, Rob Doster too.
Rob Doster.
Tony Patelis' son.
Who? Wait, by the way, who is Tony Patelis?
Oh, okay. That's a rabbit hole that we can get
No, no,
into
no, no,
off
no, no.
air.
This is a story for another
I
time.
see this account. I see this account.
It's a story
every-
for off air, okay?
No, I followed him. Is this a real person though?
As
We
far
have
as
our
we know.
theories. We have our theories.
As far as we know.
As far as we know, he is a real person.
Also, same with that Trilly Donovan guy. Like, who
Oh,
else?
that's one of those like insider accounts.
It's like what's his name? The guy Mark Fiscarelli.
Oh no, that was a fake account. Trilly
Yeah, I
Donovan, like
know.
he has like real like, thing.
Tony Patelis.
Tony Patelis is just he's a troll.
He's the GOAT, honestly.
Yeah, he's the GOAT. We're gonna bring him on the podcast at some point this offseason.
Wait, does he have a face?
What?
He's not going to show his face, is he?
I mean, he did previously.
Who is it? Is it a kid?
No.
No, he's most definitely an adult from what
All
we
right,
know.
but regardless of that, we do have we have a list of people to join the podcast this offseason.
Yeah.
He was number 1, the first name we wrote down on the list. All right, Ace Baldwin is headed to Penn State. That's one of the best defensive guards in the country.
What was Parker Hammond on the list?
We had him on and we took him off, and then we put him back on.
That's disrespect to Parker, bro. Dropping those lists every day, like Boo Booey is a
Boo Booey as a shooting guard. You know, you gotta love it.
Half of that list was shooting guards.
Hey, let's not talk shit. Maybe he'll notice this.
No, I'm
when
not
we come
talking
on.
shit. Parker's.
No, I'm talking to Jonathan.
No, he's fine. Parker's fine.
Yeah,
I love
Parker's
his content.
Parker makes a lot of content. Let's
Yeah,
put it that way.
I mean,
He's a grinder. You gotta respect it.
Yeah, grinder.
It's hard to
Speaking
put
of
out.
grinders, Ace Baldwin is the ultimate grinder in college basketball.
Yeah.
That perfect segue right there. And he's playing for his and he's following his coach Mike Rhodes to Penn State. What do we think?
Yeah, I mean, just it's a good Jalen Pickett replacement. Probably as good as Penn State could do. This is a veteran team that's not going to bring a ton of guys back. They had a couple younger kids enter the portal. Dorsey, and I forget how to pronounce the big kid's name.
Jai.
Yeah, he's in the portal as well. So Rhodes has got a rebuilding job to do there. But Ace Baldwin's a good start. We'll see where else he'll be able to go from there.
Yeah, and I don't even think you can call him a Jalen Pickett replacement because Penn State last year, Penn State this year, they are two polar opposites.
Mm-hmm.
They are not comparable in any way. And I don't believe that you can really even say like anything is a replacement. It is a whole new basketball program at this point. Going from Micah Shrewsbury to Mike Rhodes, two really damn good basketball coaches. You could not have chosen two more polar opposite types of basketball that you're going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a bad thing. It's really not, especially if you're losing your entire team and you know it's going to happen.
Yeah,
You guys like Mike Rhodes?
What'd you say?
You guys fans of Mike Rhodes? You like
Yeah,
him?
I think he's a good coach.
He is a good coach. He was an upper echelon A10 coach, East Coast guy.
I think overall, VCU.
He's no Anthony Grant though.
Dayton fans will disagree with you.
Dayton fans do not like Anthony.
Dayton fans hate him.
I'm kidding. I don't know. Anthony Grant's.
Anthony Grant was in my top 20 coaches last summer, so
Yeah, because
I can promise you he
I
won't
will
be there.
say
there.
the job that he did in 21-22 and 19-20, 2 out of 3 years, he was one of the best coaches in college basketball.
Right.
The other two were pretty bad though.
What?
Your connection is like in and out, in and out.
Being to be like a number 2 team.
Your
What'd
connection
you
is
say?
like in and out. Your connection's been in and
Am I
out
back?
the whole time. Yeah, but kind of. I would say join on
whole
your phone, but you
time?
don't have a phone. Like, yeah,
I'm trying to charge
you're
my.
lagging a little. Here, refresh the page and come back.
All right.
Should we move on?
Yeah, move on. Adam Miller is transferring out of LSU. We know he can shoot. He's
So-
considering Arizona State.
Interesting college career arc.
Yeah, I mean he'll catch on. He's a high major starter. Not a particularly good one, but he is
not
one.
not on a good team.
Yeah,
but-
Aaron Eulis from Iowa. What do we think of him?
I mean, I've heard nothing about this kid. He's from Illinois. His brother played at Kentucky. So
Who?
Aaron
Eulis.
Eulis.
The guy from Iowa?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a fantastic
okay.
player, but he was he was a rotation guy on a tournament team this year.
Yeah, I
So
don't know where
expect
he's
him to get
going.
high major interest.
Yeah, AJ Store is a guy that I've pounded the table and said
Yeah,
he's going to be a
you love him,
stud.
Sam.
That guy is very good.
Yeah, from the first time I ever watched him, I knew he was going to be a really good basketball player at some point. And look, it might be, we don't know where that might be, but I think he's going to slide in somewhere. He can be an off-ball scoring type, coming off screens, hitting threes. He can be a guy that you can use as a shot maker from anywhere on the court.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I think I was actually
What
fairly
happened?
surprised, and I know you were too, that Pitino didn't keep him around.
Yeah, Andre Curbelo, we were not surprised that Pitino didn't keep him around. I was honestly surprised he was not the first player to enter the transfer portal.
He will end up in the MAC somewhere, I think.
Nah, I don't think he's ended up in our league.
What about the other MAC?
There's a chance he ends up there, but I think there's a high major coach somewhere that thinks they can unlock Andre Curbelo.
Oh yeah, no, dude. Every coach thinks that they can unlock players to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like that's just how coaches in every sport are.
Yeah, Andre Screen from Bucknell. Bucknell had a couple big men that were in the portal and pretty good. One of them was what's his name? Alex Timmerman. He committed to Winthrop the other day. But Andre Screen was their best player, and he's really good.
Is my thing better now?
Yeah, much better.
I mean, they were the worst team in the Patriot League this year, so
yeah.
I haven't watched a whole ton of them, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, Andrew Rode. I know we both like him.
Rhodey.
It's Rhodey.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
I'm kidding. But yeah,
he would know that. Trust me.
All right. He's a big point.
Keep going.
Go on.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say he's been like Andrew Rhodey has not like said a single word about his recruitment to like anyone. But some names to watch for him: Virginia, Gonzaga, and then Creighton. Creighton's probably gonna land Stephen Ashworth though.
That would be a really good addition.
That replaces the shooting of Shireman and the point guard of Nembhard.
Correct.
I'm just hearing Stephen Ashworth to Creighton, but I can't confirm that. But also, I don't really think Ashworth is too interested in following Odom to VCU. I think he's looking to go a step higher than that. So I think Creighton's probably where on the.
Yeah, back to Rhodey. I mean, this is a freshman point guard who was one of the best players on a really solid and veteran St. Thomas team. That was pretty good. I mean, they had Parker
Bjorklund. Yeah.
Bjorklund. I was thinking, is it Hogland? Is it Bjorklund? It's Bjorklund. He was pretty good. They have Rhodey, obviously. He's now gone. This is a point guard that can really play.
Yeah. St. Thomas is. They actually have some pretty good players on that team. They have two freshmen that had high major offers. I think they're staying there too, so I don't know. That'll be interesting. But yeah, Rhodey's really good.
It's a good program. They have shown there a lot about their athletic performance in all sports, really, in basketball especially. Like that's a program to watch out for at the mid-major level.
Yeah. Arterio Morris entered the portal the other day. I wonder where he could end up and what Texas is really going to do with their guards, because they're losing a lot, and they could lose Tyrese Hunter as well.
Tyrese is in the draft right now.
Yeah, Arterio Morris. That was a little. I don't know. He's had some, weird.
He had the legal issues.
Yeah, he's had some weird things going on there, so I don't really know where he'll end up.
I was surprised based off the fact that he's a starter on that team next year, for sure, even with Tyrese coming back. So I don't know.
I would say Ole Miss is a name to watch, but I don't think so. They've got too many.
And that would
They're
be
landing too many
that would be the domestic violence hotline.
Jeez.
I was about to say, I didn't know if you guys would be fine with me making this joke. You said where do you think? Or you said where will Morris end up? I was about to say jail.
Jesus. Jesus.
I hope not too many people listen to this.
Yeah,
How many people? Wait, can you see how many people are
I
like
think
on this?
on there's like not many. There's probably single digits.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm
single
saying like
digits.
after the fact, like
Yeah,
when it's
yeah.
recorded. Do you still get a lot of people?
Not really.
During the season, a little bit.
During the season it's a lot more.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're just trying to make as much off-season content as possible
Yeah.
because we love basketball. BJ Mack, he's cut his list down from 40 to 20 to 10 to 5 to he's cut his list a million
He's
times.
posted like 15 different
Hey,
raps.
I've given up with BJ Mack. He's got to make up a decision here. He's dropped like 50 lists. I've seen 50 different.
What did I text you yesterday?
He's been in the portal for a year and a half, it feels like.
What did I text you yesterday?
What did you text me?
BJ Mack has been in the portal since Fardaws Amac won his last KenPom MVP.
Yes.
Fardaws Amac. What is a KenPom MVP? I know.
So KenPom gives out for every game they give out like an MVP of the game, and our like joke is that like Fardaws Amac has entered the portal 3 times since he won his last KenPom MVP.
Because he didn't win one at Texas Tech, and remember he entered the portal in the middle of the season. Or Goodman reported that he did, but he
Yeah.
Fardaws Amac is an interesting player. I
we'll
think
get
he'll be
into
good for Cal.
Jonathan, how do you pronounce the last name of the new Iowa center?
Ben Krikke.
Krikke? Okay.
He's a very good
very good
Wait,
half-court player.
he's not going to Iowa State.
Iowa.
Oh yeah.
He will simulate a lot of what Rebraca did for them. What Rebraca, I should say.
I agree.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of that guy, Rebraca, however you say it, his improvement this past year was pretty good. I watched him a couple of times. Like the year before, a lot of Iowa fans were like complaining about him, but he actually looked pretty good. So I don't know. Maybe
that's the Fran McCaffrey development for you. He is one of the best. I know Jonathan was about to say this. Fran McCaffrey is one of the best coaches in terms of developing players in college.
He's also one of the best coaches at complaining about every single thing that happens on a basketball
court. He doesn't do that.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of coaches are really good at that.
He doesn't get nearly the credit he deserves for the development. Iowa's always at least a competitive team in the Big Ten, and that's despite them bringing in 3-star prospects every year, and basically that's what they're working with. Like nobody had heard of Keegan Murray. Nobody had heard of Chris Murray. I'm telling you right now, and TJ, you probably know who these two kids are, but the kids that they're bringing in from Moline next year, Brock Harding and Owen Freeman, will be very good players in Iowa.
And obviously, I think Peyton Sanfort's in for a huge breakout year next year.
Yeah,
he'll average like 15.
Sanford is good, but his game, for me, it's a little one-dimensional, in my opinion.
He'll average a lot of points though.
Yeah. Also, speaking of the 2 commits they got, like Jonathan said, I would just keep an eye out on them because the chemistry they have going to Iowa's development program and stuff, they're going to be 4-year players. It's going to be they're going to be really good.
They won the 4A title in Illinois this year.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a Mickey Mouse ring considering Owen Freeman didn't actually like live in Moline or Moline.
He transferred. He moved to Moline.
So it's a little bit of I'll give it to them, but it's a little bit of a Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, I mean that you're starting to see that more in high school basketball.
Hey, flags fly forever.
Yeah.
That's what they say. Flags fly forever. My favorite flag is the Louisville 2013 AP poll #1 in the final rankings.
Speaking of Louisville, I know Kenny Payne gets a lot of hate, but I actually think I actually kind of like the way he's going.
They're weird.
Yeah, they're going to be better.
Yeah,
they will be way better.
It's hard to get worse.
Yeah,
it's also hard to get really it's also hard to be really good, but they'll be a lot better. They'll be competitive in pretty much every game in the ACC.
You know what's
They're-
funny is how UNC fans are trying to gas up the fact that they got Jalen Withers. I mean,
You're getting one of the worst defenders on one of the worst teams in the country. Like this is not something to.
dude. I mean, I saw RJ Davis tweet. He's like, "This is just the start, bro. The start is getting like a 7 point per game kid from Louisville. That's not even that good. Like, no disrespect to Mr. Jalen Withers.
Sean
The,
Paul
the,
was
the
talking
kid
about
that I
this.
like for Louisville that left is Kamari Lands. And we talked about this with Arizona State. What Arizona State's good at is getting athletes in space.
Yeah.
What is he? An athlete. What does he need? Space.
What they're good at is also getting like 700 guards from the portal and recruiting a bunch of guards and then completely wasting their potential.
Hey, they made a tournament.
That
Horn was good for them.
yeah, and he
That was
left.
good.
NC State.
I didn't really like the Frankie Collins fit. I thought
They got look,
he should have stayed
Austin
in Michigan.
Nunez. Austin
He's
Nunez.
in the portal.
He is going to be They lost him. He's about to be a stud. They lost DJ Horn, who's about to go to NC State. Little inside scoop there, and that's kind of obvious. So, speaking of DJ Horn, like NC State,
Yeah,
I think he could thrive there.
because they just got Jaden Taylor too.
yeah,
I think he could. That Horn could thrive at NC State. Like there's
Yeah.
there's a lot of his game that like
he reminds
State,
me. Yeah,
that NC
yeah.
State can use and that
He reminds
players
me of
like
that.
him succeeded with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a team that got 2 commits today, a Big Ten team that got 2 commits today, both pretty good players at a mid-major level, and they're adding that to a guy who really was breaking out at the end of the season. TJ, you know who we're talking about, right?
Wait, say that. One
There
more
is
time.
there's a Big Ten team who got 2 really good mid-major commits today, and they're bringing that back to a shooting guard who had a breakout last couple games of the season.
Wait, give me a hint.
We're talking about the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Oh yeah.
They got
yeah.
Rink Most and they got
Yeah.
Bryce Williams, and they add
Yeah.
that to Kesey Tominaga. They have Javian McCollum visiting.
And they're still gonna be in the bottom half of the Big Ten.
Yeah, but they could be a lot better next year.
What's his
I agree.
name? Like the transfers they got today, they remind me of like good mid-major players that like go on to just play like a specific role at a school, like a powerhouse school, like
I think
or not
Most
power,
could
not
be-
powerhouse, high major.
Rink's numbers don't do justice for how good he is.
Yeah, I think Rink Most is going to be borderline all Big Ten.
Where's
Yeah,
he?
I agree with that.
He's
I
from
think
Bradley.
Bradley. Yeah.
like watching him this year, he was basically the main offensive guy and he was one of the best defensive players in the conference. On a team
That
like
team was a great team.
yeah, but they struggled initiating offense. And Rank scored in a lot of different ways. He could post up. He's a really smart player. I like right away. When they were playing Northern Iowa in the quarterfinals, this was one of the 3 games I saw them play this year.
Mm-hmm.
He set a ball screen. Northern Iowa was in drop coverage. Next possession, he was popping up on their drop coverage. Like he picked it up right away, and
Yeah.
so just a very smart addition for Nebraska.
And he can shoot those threes. He's an effective player that can score in different ways. He's a great defender. He's been well coached. Brian Wardle's a heck of a basketball coach. I mean, we got a jumping gym over there, but whatever.
You can hear that?
Yes,
Yeah, that's my brother. I don't know what he's doing.
I don't mind. Bryce Williams could be an interesting player for them coming from Charlotte.
Mhm.
Brandon Murray committed to Ole Miss. Ole Miss could be really interesting because we know Chris Beard can really coach basketball.
Yeah, I feel like most of the SEC teams going into the season, you can make a case for them being at least
Tournament
like a
team?
tournament caliber team, if
Yeah.
not better.
I agree
Yeah,
with
Ole Miss. I like them a lot. They got Brakefield back. They got Brandon Murray.
that.
Brandon
Morrell,
Murray's
too.
Brandon Murray is he's a stud. He's had some unfortunate circumstances.
I mean, he chose to go to Georgetown.
Yeah, that is true, but he also kind of got screwed over at LSU too.
That's true.
He has chosen some weird routes, but I think this will finally be a good one for
I mean,
him.
he also. I mean, let's not act like this isn't a weird route.
Yeah,
And
it's
he
Ole
probably
Miss.
needs a waiver.
He does.
Yeah, I don't. This
Ole
team has
Miss Ole Miss had a lot of good players last year. They just couldn't put the pieces together.
I mean, they're
Matthew
coaching
Moreau.
with Davis.
As someone who roots for an SEC school, I'm very glad that Amari Abram won't be playing against my team next year because he's
Wait, did he
very
transfer
good.
out of Ole Miss?
He's in the portal.
Oh yeah, I could tell you where he's going right now.
Really? Where?
Yeah, LSU.
Oh, so he is gonna play against my team next year.
Yeah,
Great.
I can't. I'm not gonna set that in stone, but I'm pretty sure
You
he's
just
going to
said it on
LSU.
the internet, sir.
Yeah, I get that. Also, what's his name? Front runners in his recruitment right now. Front runner, right? Phrase that. Will Baker, the Nevada guy.
Yeah.
They need a 5, so they're probably just going to
LSU
take
would
whatever
be
they can.
super interesting with Jalen Cook, Abram, Baker, Jordan Wright, and Jalen Reed.
Yeah, I don't. That team is.
That's a borderline tournament team.
That's on the bubble for me.
If they're well coached, and Matt McMahon is a question mark. He could be really good, but we aren't quite sure.
I'm
not sold on him.
Definitely not out on him yet.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
not out, but I'm also not sold on him.
Time to talk about the most prolific first name in terms of the transfer portal right now. Caleb.
Grill?
Not quite. Let's start with a different one. Let's start with the one that's going to play for a bad coach that only has the job because he's a legend at that university.
Wait, who are we talking about right now?
Caleb.
I don't know who Caleb is.
Caleb who committed.
Mills?
Caleb who committed to play for a coach who's only there because he's a legend at that university.
Caleb Mills.
Or Caleb who?
Love.
I'm kidding. I know. I'm kidding. Caleb Love.
I was trying to drag that one out.
Caleb Love is just
2 for 21 incoming.
He's like one of those guys that you see at the YMCA just cooking everyone, but then then you watch him play in an actual game and he can't hit a fucking shot.
Speaking of Michigan, Olivier Combois and Matthew Cleveland make them not only a tournament team but a good basketball.
How many scholarships do they have open?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm about to say.
They could tell Cheddar or someone else to fuck off.
Well, Joey Baker's not coming back, which helps them a ton. But
yeah, Joey Baker's pursuing a professional career. In what?
Where is
in
Joey
what?
Baker?
What is?
TJ, have you heard anything about Papa Conte potentially decommitting?
No, I haven't, but I know he can't play next year. He can't play next year.
Why is that?
Because his grades are horrible. He
probably will be decommitting then.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume he goes somewhere else then.
That could be like JUCO then.
Wait, I thought did I just accidentally? Oh shoot! Is that not out there yet?
Yeah, you got to be more careful, man.
I think I've heard that rumor, but I'm not sure that's confirmed.
No, I don't think it's confirmed. I think it's.
I'm telling you, you got to be more careful. But
dude, I don't really.
Hey, it's content, and your name is content.
I'm gonna be honest, Papa Conte, what is he gonna come for me? Oh, you said my grades were bad on the PSP Sam Fetterman podcast, or the Power Hour.
I will say that
Bubbles and Bid Steelers.
I will say if he does, if he doesn't go to Michigan, I would watch Rutgers with that. This is not coming.
And if his grades are bad, it's fucking JUCO.
This is not coming from any sourcing or anything like that. But he's close with Gavin Griffiths, who's going to Rutgers next year.
Gavin Griffiths.
Hey, maybe we'll see Papa Conte at CLC. Who knows? Fetterman definitely doesn't know what CLC
No, he has no idea.
It's something Lake College.
Yeah, no, it's College of Lake County.
I'm pretty close. Yeah. I watched way too much JUCO basketball last year, and I remember I sent you a video of some random player who I said was the most hilarious player I'd ever seen. Remember that? The big guy.
Guess who came from JUCO?
Danis Jenkins.
Ellis, baby.
A lot of guys came from JUCO. We'll talk about JUCO in a little bit because I actually want to give them a little bit of a spotlight. But we got to talk about Caleb Love, Caleb Mills, and Caleb Grill. The fact that Caleb Grill is the best player in the history of basketball.
Why do you guys love that dude? He's mid.
Caleb Mills.
Caleb
No,
Grill.
no. Grill.
Oh, Caleb
Because
Grill.
It's a bit.
Dude, he also just could fit like anywhere. Like
He's a good 3-point shooter. He's a wing defender. He was really impactful for Iowa State. That's what it is.
and basically
lot of
like
teams-
Iowa State was awful when he was off the floor.
Teams can use what he had. That's more of a personnel issue, I would say, though.
He's good,
Yeah, the,
right?
fact,
But,
the fact that they had no other shooters.
Jaron
Hey,
Holmes
there's
was
some-
supposed to be their other shooter. Shot
there's some
31%.
crazy rumors on why Caleb Grill left. I'm not even going to get into those. But
Yeah, please. I'm telling you, be more
Not on
careful.
air.
Be
there
more
are
careful.
some.
We
there
got
are some
eventually
crazy rumors on why he left.
we'll take this off the air and we'll have conversations. But Chance Stevens is headed to Maryland. Charles
Hey.
Pride, I believe he's looking at Rhode Island.
Yeah, I'm hearing for him, someone reported that he was committed to Loyola
Loyola,
Chicago.
right?
Yeah, and he came
saw
out. He's
that.
like, "No, I'm not committed."
Bronny at sixth man for some reason just fits perfectly. If Bronny goes to USC, he starts.
Cap.
No, they could play with 3 guards.
I'm 1,000.
Collier?
I'm 100% certain he starts.
Collier, point guard. Boogie Ellis, shooting guard. Boogie Ellis would have to also change positions, shooting guard, which he's gonna have to do.
They would be small though as a team.
Yeah, Trey
But
White,
they would have been.
They'll be so
Kobe
big in their
Johnson.
front court that it won't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Kobe Johnson is.
It doesn't for me. It doesn't matter if you start or if you come off the bench. It just he'd play. They would play 3-guard lineups at times, and they would play with King and Johnson at times.
Mhm.
They would
Who's
play
King?
King, not What am I? Did I screw?
Drew Peterson.
My guy said King.
Did I screw up the name?
You're-
White.
King.
Oh, okay.
I meant White. King White.
Trey White.
I know, but Trey King is a name that's definitely in my head somewhere.
It's because we were Iowa State, right?
Look, I follow 363 college, now 362. Hartford's gone. 362 college basketball teams. I'm bound to get names stuck in my head.
So do you? If you
Why?
follow 362 teams, do you know anything about the Chicago State Cougars?
Wesley Cardet is a stud.
No way.
They also went undefeated at home this year.
Yeah, undefeated
Hey,
at home. They should have gotten an at-large.
I'm not gonna lie. They weren't even. What is the deal with them being independent?
They were kicked out of the WAC.
So what are they doing?
Which is also just good for them. If you're as bad as Chicago
They get
State
to play Gonzaga the day before the WCC tournament starts.
if you are as bad as Chicago State is, why would you want to play a WAC schedule?
Why would you want to commit the resources to travel to Seattle, Washington every year? Go to freaking Edinburgh, Texas every year.
Yeah,
They-
they have
they-
3 Texas schools in that league.
They already They played Gonzaga though.
Yeah, but
They
they were getting
traveled.
paid a heck of a lot of money to do that.
Gonzaga also probably paid them a bunch of money to play them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You're not
Not
going
like
out
the-
to
it's
play
not like the
Seattle
WAC
and-
has a
and
TV
getting
deal.
money for that.
Hey, do you know who beat Chicago State?
Gonzaga.
The Northwestern Wildcats.
Northwestern
And-
beat a lot of teams.
And guess who else beat
Dude,
Chicago
I'm all
State?
for Northwestern praise on this show.
Yeah, we need more.
Yes, sir. Fetterman, do you know who Nicholas Martinelli is?
We've been over this multiple times. I know. I also know who Gabrielle Martinelli is.
Who?
He's a really good soccer player.
Oh yeah, is that why every time I look up Martinelli on Twitter that shit comes up like some
Yeah.
Italian soccer dude?
He's Brazilian.
Oh, my fault.
It makes sense. It is a very Italian name.
Anyway, let's go into the Big Ten.
Okay, one moment, please. I need to sneeze. I lied.
The worst, isn't it?
Yeah, when you know you have to sneeze but you just can't. That's the worst. Yeah, Big Ten. Let's talk a little bit about the Big Ten. I discussed a little bit about Michigan State with you the other day. Just getting into that a little deeper.
Hey, you actually proved me you made my opinion change because I just threw out that take on Twitter with no I didn't look at anything else. I look more in it and I'm like, They're kind of overrated this year. I'm
Yeah,
not
like
gonna
here's
lie.
the thing. How did Michigan State get that much better from last year to the point where they are going to be
Dude,
like a
dude,
top
they got Xavier Booker.
Yeah, they got Xavier
Xavier
Booker. Xavier Booker who's going to get his ass kicked by every Big Ten big man.
Xavier Booker was like in the 60s in this class, like ranking wise, and then like a couple of big schools
cutting out?
started like looking into him. Like they went and like watched his AAU games, and like I don't know if these schools like offered him or anything like that, but like a couple of the bigger names just like went and like they showed interest, and all of a sudden he starts rising on every recruiting board.
Yep, and that's why I think most recruiting rankings are just pretty bullshit.
Yeah, it's all a business. So all the
Exactly.
players that have like great like builds and like perfect like
Also,
size.
prep schools are a huge deal.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. It's kind of I'm not a big fan of it because also like they have guys like Aiden Holloway who I think is like a top 10 player in the class. They got him all the way down to like 25.
I haven't finished watching him yet, but like Holloway, but I think Layden Blocker is a top 3 player in the class.
Layden Blocker, the Arkansas guy.
Yeah,
Went to Sunrise.
What's he rated right now?
like
He's in like
28.
the 30s, 32, something like that.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of his game. I think it's very well rounded in terms of he's an electric point guard. He can take control of a game. Good
Hey,
feel, good shot.
Speaking of these rankings, my gosh, the Kentucky commits are way too highly ranked.
Not
Some of
Edwards
them
and
are.
Wagner.
Not Edwards or Wagner.
Bradshaw
Aaron
is.
Bradshaw is
Bradshaw,
way,
yeah. Bradshaw, I don't
way
get. Bradshaw and Booker are the 2 guys that I just don't get. And also, I don't get the Mikey Williams or AJ Johnson.
I think it's just the fact that like these recruiting sites like they need to rank centers like somewhere, right? And like this center class is not good.
Yeah, the kid. We both have to watch the kid from Spain that might go to UCLA. That Dylan told us about. We got to get him on the show, by the way.
No, I 100%. Him and I did a freshman preview last year, and it was very good.
Yeah, we'll do that again this year.
Hey, Maryland's got the most underrated class in the country.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't watched him yet, but I've
Deshaun
heard good things
Harris,
about Deshaun
that
Harris.
guy.
No, that's not even my favorite player in their class.
Really?
Kaiser?
I love Jamie Kaiser,
Okay,
bro.
I haven't seen him yet either.
Yeah,
He's a
again,
stud.
I have to. I've only watched the guys that I have listed. I have to watch more guys, and I will be doing
Mikey
that.
Williams is only high because he has his own overtime show.
Remember
Wait, is Mikey Williams? Do you guys what would you guys rank him if you forget
He's
all?
gonna be like, dude. If that
three
kid's a
star?
top 50 player in this class for me, I'll be shocked.
Like, I think, of course, Bronny's better than Mikey. Bronny's a top 10 player in the class. Bronny's
Dude, those two aren't even in the same stratosphere as prospects.
The only reason you're comparing them is because they both have a lot of Instagram followers.
And
Wait,
they
what did I say
they also played AAU.
No,
together.
not you. In the comments.
Who's in the comments?
Yeah, it was at this point that TJ realized there were comments.
No, who's in there though? I can't see him.
Oh no, it nobody you know.
It's just
No.
It's guy Sam knows.
Is it that guy that said he was going to prove you wrong that you don't know ball? In your Twitter replies?
Probably not.
When you tweeted that you were hosting this today, someone
Oh
replied.
no. That
was Kevin. He's awesome.
That's Kevin. He's just like he's funny. He's funny. We've talked at a lot of games. He said he wanted to do a podcast with me where we just watch random college basketball games on like a random Tuesday night and we talk. Like he said what he likes to do on Tuesday nights is scroll through ESPN Plus and find the most random game.
That sounds like
I
a great
can't do
Tuesday
that.
night, to be honest.
It really does. Back to Michigan State. I just don't see how they're better than last year. Like they're okay. I see how they're better. I don't see how
I think they're better. I just don't think they're as much better as people think.
Like, let's see. What were they best at last season?
Shooting.
And who did they lose?
Guard play.
And who did they lose? Their best shooter. Who made a lot of big shots for them. Yeah, he was a bad defender. Okay, so you replaced Joey Hauser with Cohen Carr. You replaced Joey Hauser shooting with Cohen Carr's athleticism and transition play. Is the difference making it, and you then add another big man into the rotation in Xavier Booker. You get the Jackson Kohler development. And
You
at that
get
point,
Carson Cooper, the GOAT.
and at that point, how much? So you have 4 big men that you're going to have to play. Plus, you have to play Malik Hall. And if Jaden Akins comes, like there's too
Hey.
many cooks in that kitchen.
Yeah,
Akins.
I don't think I don't think Xavier Booker necessarily made their front court room better.
Look, this is Akins. Portal.
Okay.
Portal.
My point is, how much better are Hoggard and Walker getting at this point? Like,
Probably not.
Okay, they'll both be all Big Ten. Will they be all Americans? Probably not.
I bet Hoggard comes back and he's a better shooter.
Yeah, that would be huge.
Hey, I actually like AJ Hoggard.
Yeah,
He's
I
pretty
like.
good.
I like
think
both
they're-
of them.
Yeah, I don't think they're bad players. I think we both are fans of both of them. It's
And,
just
like,
that.
I also don't entirely trust Izzo. I still think Izzo's a good coach. He's not what he once was, but he's still a very good basketball coach. I don't trust his big development, and that's been for a while now.
Who was the last great big he developed? Tillman.
Xavier Tillman.
Yeah, Tillman. That was a while ago. He had Marcus Bingham and really did nothing with him. Julian
Marble transferred out.
Marble transferred out. Yeah,
Hey,
Marble
Marble's
was
good.
supposed to be really good, but
Marble is really good.
he found his
He
way
is
at
good.
Texas A&M because Buzz Williams is a really good guy in terms of coaching. Really underrated basketball coach. Now, not as underrated as Jonathan made me think he was, though.
He's still very good. He still will be ranked pretty high for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hey,
probably top 30.
Remember how much better my list was than his, though? Do you remember that?
There's no such thing as a good list. Let's be honest here.
Dude, when discussing coaches, that is impossible. Oh, Pat
No,
Bev is
but-
a menace. Let's go.
The only list that we can both agree was bad was Parker's.
Which one?
Exactly.
Oh, which one, actually?
All of them.
Hammond has...
Again, I respect the effort. It's just that we can't agree.
Yeah, I it's pretty hard to rank the top 20 players in the portal. I got to give him that. That's pretty... Or top 20 players at each position. That's pretty...
I also just
hard.
don't think positions exist enough to do that. Regardless, let's move.
Also, for coaches, there's everyone has their own criteria, and there's no wrong criteria for evaluating a coach.
Yeah, but some
people
things
for
like...
different things.
All right, we guys, we have to move on and talk about more teams. Oh my God, Purdue, they return pretty much everybody from
You can
last
just
year.
you can skip right over them. I don't want to talk about Purdue.
Well,
I will. I think they're really good.
yeah, this was a team that was, regardless of what happened at the end of their season, a top 5 team all year with 2 freshman guards.
They're
They're gonna get better.
I think that no matter what any Big Ten team does in this offseason, if you have Purdue anything below 1 in your early Big Ten rankings, what are you doing?
Yeah, and that's not necessarily Purdue praise. It's more of the Big Ten can't do better. The feeling of a Big Ten team is just not high enough. Purdue is a top 5 team for next season. Do I think they can be a national champion? Probably not.
Did you just wait? Well, Purdue's a top 5 team. Whoa.
They were a top 5 team this year, all year,
Yeah.
and they had freshman guards, and the biggest development jumps are freshman and sophomore. And what was their biggest weakness? Their freshman guards.
Their biggest
That was
weakness was their coach in March Madness.
But
The
we're
dude
not
cannot
ranking
win.
team, but the season's 5 months long. We don't
I'm
rank for
kidding.
one of them.
I'm kidding.
And I
I'm
will
kidding.
say, Matt Painter against mid-majors from New Jersey. I'm telling you, it's over.
Hey,
Ryder,
what is
I also think
Edie's
that
coming back, right?
yeah, he's got to be. There's no way he doesn't.
I also think that Lawyer and Smith will have moments of weaknesses even if they get much better like that. Lance Jones is there now.
Yeah, they have security. That's huge. Oh, the Bulls took the lead. They're up 104-101. Zach LaVine has 37 points. Okay, that's. I thought that would get a
Bev is
bigger
being a menace
reaction.
right now.
I thought that would get a bigger reaction from the Chicago contingent.
I'm watching.
Okay.
Pat Bev is being a menace right now.
I think the Big Ten has a lot of teams that could be in the 20 to 30 range. We talked about
Dude, I'm so
Maryland a
interested to
little.
hear what Illinois does.
But Rutgers is another one for me. I know their lineup's going to be really like you said, it's disgusting. Rutgers is going to have a disgusting lineup. Right now,
Rutgers will be good in 2 years when they have Ace Bailey.
Like I said, Rutgers could be like a top 30 team next year because, like, you look at this lineup: Cam Spencer, Derek Simpson, Moat Mogg, Andre Hyatt, and Cliff Amori. That's not a bad lineup. It's disgusting in terms of the style of basketball they're going to play. But Pike can coach, and that's a lineup that was. I mean, obviously there's no McConnell, there's no Mulcahy, but Simpson can step up, Hyatt can step up.
I think Mulcahy can come back.
No, he can't. No chance.
Hold on.
He can.
He can?
He can.
Really?
Yeah.
I have him down as testing waters.
Okay.
He's played 4 years of college
Oh,
basketball.
Yeah, he has a
I
COVID
could
year
have
still.
sworn he played 5, but whatever.
Yeah. He looks like he's 50. But my favorite player in Rutgers is for this upcoming year is definitely Simpson.
He's got to be big for them.
He is like the way I watch him in like that one game they played in or they played 2 games in the Big Ten tournament. He ran like the entire offense. I wasn't ran through him, but like it all started with him. So I don't know. We'll see how he does. It's pretty good.
I think he's going to be big. Cruz Davis will be visiting. Guess where this weekend?
Dude, I don't have my phone. I can't see. Has there been any news since?
Well, I'm telling you where Cruz Davis is going to visit this weekend.
Who the
Take a
fuck
guess.
is Cruz Davis?
I know Jonathan knows. Take a guess.
New Mexico,
No.
St. John's.
Yep.
It had to be one of the two.
Yep,
Who is
it's it.
Cruz Davis?
He was a highly touted freshman that was at Iona last year. I
Come
like
on,
him.
one score in the Bulls win.
Yo, where's Silas Sunday going?
Mr. Ireland. And
Iona.
a happy Silas Sunday Wednesday to all who celebrate.
Oh, he got hit. Yes, let's go.
What's his name? Shit, what am I about to say? The guy on the coach, Tobin Anderson. Is he good enough to get like at least mediocre for next year?
That the entire league there's right now I believe there's like 87 players total among the 11 teams.
Dude, Iona doesn't even have they have like one
They
player.
have like 3 players right
Three.
now.
3.
Have they
Quigley,
got two?
Quigley
got
and
any recruits?
Arangaran, who are the 2 freshmen that were committed to FDU. And there's Oz Shema. Oz Shema. We learned it was pronounced that way because I've told
You told me that story.
before. I'm not going to say it again because we need to move on.
Hey. All right, you got to move on. All right.
We mentioned Northwestern. We all 3 think they can be a top 25. They bring back Bowie and Audige. And I think it's pretty fair to say that. Let's talk a little bit about the Big 12. Houston moving into the Big 12 and getting LJ Cryer and Damian Dunn to commit.
LJ was weird because don't get me wrong, I think he's a great player, but it just doesn't seem like a Calvin Sampson type guy.
And Tiger Campbell has declared for the NBA draft.
Let me guess who tweeted that. John Rothstein.
Well, he did,
Yes.
but so did
Tiger did.
Tiger Campbell on his Instagram account.
Per his
And
IG page.
And we also knew that this was going to happen because we saw him on the Portsmouth roster.
Going back to the Big 12 though, I think LJ Cryer is a good fit for Houston. It's not bad.
It's an interesting fit because he doesn't really guard that well. But
yeah, I don't know, but what's his name?
Maybe going to Houston changes that.
Yeah.
Dunn was a really good pickup.
yeah, I think I said this immediately. They need an athletic 4-man. They need the closest thing they can find to Jarris Walker in the transfer portal. And I texted both of you this. And who did I say that was?
Who?
Daniel Bacho.
Oh, Daniel Bacho.
Bacho?
I mean, that he's not that good, but he's probably the closest thing that there is in the transfer portal
That
to
could work.
Jarris Walker.
That could work. I like his
Put
game.
him
with
in the
Houston
Houston
system.
development system.
Yeah, maybe.
I
He got a lot better this year.
And I also said, if you put Moussa Cease Cisse in the Houston development system, you can get Josh Carlton production.
I was actually going to say the same thing about that.
I think I texted that to you.
I don't think you did.
Again, I think we text each other. Way
Yeah,
too
you never
much.
texted me about, or maybe you did about Bacho.
I did text you about Bacho. Search your messages. I guarantee I texted you. I said, is it sad that the closest thing in the transfer portal to Jarris Walker is Daniel Bacho?
I probably did. I even see that? I don't know.
To be fair, like Jarris Walker's a very unique player.
Yeah, exactly.
Jarris Walker's
I think
also
I think
an NBA lottery player, lottery pick.
he's a top 5 pick. The first thing I said about him when I first watched him is, "Wow, this dude is a freak." All right. Speaking of a freak, Omaha BYU and Iowa State, I could see them being really, really good because they have a backcourt now of Jackson Pavletsky and Keshawn Gilbert.
Pavletsky. Let's get that pronunciation right.
See, I watched so many games with no volume on, okay?
Pavletsky. I thought it was Pavletsky too.
Pavletsky, okay.
Actually, Jonathan, do you know how to pronounce his name?
I'm calling him JPav.
I think you're saying it right, but I could be wrong.
He
I
will
don't
from
know.
here on out be known as JPav.
Hey, I found him. I heard of him from Wisconsin high school basketball. But then like when I was randomly like sitting down one day and I was like looking through the scores and I noticed that I think didn't Wofford, they played Texas A&M, right? Was that the game?
They beat them earlier in the year.
Yeah, they beat them, and Jackson had like 26 points in it.
Jackson had a great game in that game.
Yeah, I posted about him. I posted a mixtape about him, like the highlight reel or whatever. And I was just like, how does Wisconsin not recruit this kid? Like,
he's good. Wisconsin fans wanted him. If you had searched his name on Twitter,
Wisconsin fans also want Rhodey.
Like, dude, they want him really bad.
The problem is, if you notice, Wisconsin, all these players from Wisconsin that are under recruited, they all go to mid-major. They enter the transfer portal after 1 or 2 years, and then Wisconsin tries to get them and they don't. Because
Iowa State also owns the state of Wisconsin right now.
Because you know where TJ Otzelberger's from?
Wisconsin.
That's correct.
Guess who they also did?
They got Milan, who's from the Milwaukee area. They got, and then Tyrese Hunter's from Racine.
Hunter? Yeah, Tyrese Hunter.
Yeah, he's from Racine. I was trying to think of the one other one.
Yeah, and then also what was I gonna say? I was gonna say that the only player they've really got like that's had that path where like they leave the state of Wisconsin out of high school to go to mid majors like Max Klesmet, and he
was fine.
So, he's okay.
He's all right.
But Iowa State can be really good because the thing that kind of held them back was that they didn't have shot makers. Gilbert and JPav are both shot makers.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the most like interesting combinations I've seen, but it's really good.
I haven't watched Milan yet, but I did watch Omaha, and I think he is the best defender just overall in this recruiting class.
I think so too.
I mean, you could argue Dennis Evans for his rim protection.
Dennis Evans.
But yeah, Dennis Evans cannot play offense. He is a net. He's not just a net negative. He is a straight negative.
Dennis Evans is another one.
Can't wait to look at Evan Mia's site next year. Dennis Evans is turning out a negative 1.03 offensive BPR.
and a 2.72 defensive BPR.
Dennis Evans is like one of those players. He's kind of like Booker. I'm not gonna lie.
No, he's better.
No. I'm not saying like. I'm not comparing the way they play. I'm just saying like the way the recruiting.
They're big.
Like the way they have him is like Dennis.
He actually
Evans
has a motor though, and he's got great timing. So.
Yeah, it's just the fact that he wears rec specs. It's all automatically minus like 5 stars.
Hey! I used to wear them too. So.
I know that was the point of the joke.
Respect elite basketball players, Sam Fetterman.
How do you know that I used to wear those?
What?
You said that was the point of the joke. Like you're making a joke about me. You've never seen me wearing my sport glasses.
I have seen actually because you requested to follow me on IG.
Right. I do have an old post on Instagram where
I was looking through your stuff and then I saw that. So
that's right. I do have an old post where I was wearing them.
Yeah. So maybe.
Touche.
Maybe just listen to me before you go off on me, buddy.
Okay. I got a feeling here.
TJ, what's the word on Harrison Ingram?
Oh, oh my
If
god.
you don't know, you don't have to.
No, I do know. So basically, he's like, I was actually a little surprised, but he put out all those like, 21st Sun Sports put out like all those Zoom visits he was doing or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, there's no like, it's already his recruitment's already pretty much over, I guess.
UNC.
Yeah, UNC.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm not gonna say 100%, but it's like pretty much.
Yeah.
He's visiting Kansas though, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't really know what that's about because the person that like, there's someone that tells me like a lot of stuff about this, like all my scoops and stuff where I get it from. He was like, yeah, Harrison Ingram's like locked into like committed to UNC already. So I was like, why is he visiting all these other schools? So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to UNC.
Yeah, I would say that's probably where
Like,
I would
where's
think.
he's not going to go to Baylor. Like,
Yeah,
that's
no.
just weird.
We talked last time about Jameer Nelson going to TCU. We talked about John.
That's a really weird.
I thought Villanova should have gone after him, but Villanova's going to get. Did TJ Bamba commit yet?
Oh no.
Wasn't he supposed to commit today?
No.
No, he wasn't.
No. I think he's committing on Friday.
Oh, that makes sense. But it's going to be Nova, right?
I don't know if that's put out there, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he's committing on Friday.
He has a crystal ball to Nova.
Yeah, he's going to Villanova.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Ross Steve said decision expected for Friday. He's right. You're right. It's for Friday.
Really?
It says Friday.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
See, like,
Oh my God.
ask me any transfer player. Like I try.
Joe Girard.
Oh, Joe Girard, bro. He is. I don't know what Slater was saying though. I don't know anything about him like in terms of his recruitment, but I know that Slater was saying he's like high on LSU. So I don't. That's interesting.
Dude,
if he goes
LSU just gonna get everyone?
If he goes to LSU, bro, I don't.
What type of fit is that? Like him and he's not even athletic enough for the ACC. What's he gonna do in the SEC?
What do you mean?
He's like the worst athlete in the ACC.
History in ACC history.
He's got a strap on him.
Joe Girard, as soon as he got the basketball in the Wake Forest game, I knew he was throwing up a brick and Wake Forest was hitting a game winner. I knew it was happening. It was the most obvious thing in college basketball history.
Wait, I don't want to get off topic here, but so are you like a full Syracuse fan?
I mean, that's where I'm going to go. So, yeah.
Are you going to, what's it called? Newhouse, yeah.
We went over this the first night I talked to you.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, I am.
TJ, have you heard anything on Jaden Bradley or Hunter Salas? I've seen nothing about those two.
Salas, yeah, I haven't heard anything about Hunter Salas, but Jaden Bradley, originally, like right when he entered the portal, I was hearing that like Michigan was going to be all over him, but that's definitely not a thing anymore. I don't think so.
Yeah,
so I don't. Work out. He's going. I could tell you that he's definitely going to like a school that's like well known. That's like I don't want to say Power 5, but I want to say like
Memphis.
Like he's going to one of those schools that like when you hear their name, you think like has a rich history, like
Memphis, San Diego State, like those types.
Like not San Diego State, but like like I don't know where I can't say where he's going. I have no clue, but like Memphis, like Michigan, just like one of those schools, like Louisville. He's not even going to go to Louisville. I'm just putting out.
All right. There's a bunch of names in there. Oh, just committed the other day. Obviously, Anelli Jr. Joseph to New Mexico.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, definitely the right decision for him to. He had high major offers. Didn't think it would have worked out. He's probably not physical enough.
There's some rumors out there too of what's his name, Adem Boma hitting the portal.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that. Oh no, because they're gonna get that kid from Spain.
Yeah, so there's some rumors out there.
That makes sense.
Wow, UCLA has just been gutted.
Yeah, UCLA. Is Amari Bailey going to the draft?
Yeah, probably. He's one of those guys that even if they he's one of those guys that even if someone told him to go back to college, he would stay in the draft.
Yeah, I think he should go to the draft. He's good enough to do it. Like
I told you last summer that he was a better NBA. Sam, I told you he was a better NBA prospect, college prospect.
And I agree with that. We saw. What else was there? Reese Dixon Waters to San Diego State. I mean, San Diego State.
Jesus.
Great
Oh
pick.
God.
Love that.
Love that move for them. He's just staying in the Pac-12.
Just a sad move. But I guess that can only mean one thing, right?
Yeah.
Ronnie James.
Yeah, we'll have to see on that.
Yeah, but Reese Dixon Waters, the thing about him is like
We
the
thought
first thing people are gonna do when they look at like, oh, San Diego State got a new transfer. Who is this? They look at the first thing they look at, oh, Pac-12 Sixth Man of the Year. Like he should have been like starting. Like, he was a starter to start the season off. Like
Mhm.
yeah,
he's not really
we
a
thought-
six.
we both thought he was going to have a bigger breakout year than he did.
Yeah, the thing about him though is like this year, I don't know if many people know this, but the year he just played was technically supposed to be his he's listed as a junior, right?
Yes.
It was supposed to be his sophomore year technically because he enrolled early at USC for his freshman year. He kind of I guess he didn't really reclass, but he kind of like
Mhm.
jumped a year. So he's still pretty young. He's pretty good.
Kind of
I
like
think-
what Freddie Delone did at Tennessee this year.
Yeah. He's kind of like in my opinion, I don't think like if Texas or UCLA got him, I'd be like, all right, that's like a solid transfer. But now that San Diego State got him, yeah, that's a really good transfer. That's a good, really
All
good transfer.
Next up, Steel Venners to Gonzaga. Overall, Gonzaga is looking at a really weird roster for next year.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
not a fan of it.
If
at all.
Drew Timme doesn't come back, is there a chance Ben Gregg is their starting center?
Yes.
Okay,
Dude.
they're not a tournament team. Okay, they're a tournament team, but
Gonzaga is interesting. Steele, I mean, from the moment that dude jumped in the portal, I was like a lot. He was already committed to Gonzaga basically, but
yeah.
I don't know. I would have liked to see that. I'd rather see him at like Washington than Gonzaga.
I think he's a good player and he'll be good for Gonzaga. But I feel like Gonzaga could have taken a different route with roster construction.
Yeah.
I think they need athletes. He's a solid, but
He's
his
basically
his
Joe
game-
Girard, but with a better.
no,
shot.
he's not that bad of an athlete.
No, I'm saying he's Joe Girard, but like with a better shot.
He's also 6'7", so
Yeah, but he's Joe Girard with a better shot.
no, that comparison makes no sense. He's a good player. He's a solid athlete. He's 6'7". He can really shoot it. The ball movement and player movement on that Eastern Washington team, I loved it. I really wanted them to win the Big Sky, and then I ended up picking Montana State to beat Kansas State regardless.
Jalen Cone, baby.
Jalen Cone headed to, oh my God, Cal. Yes. with
That
Mark-
dude's also taken one of the weirdest routes.
NAU was a huge shock this past year. But what else is there?
Boys, I gotta head out, so I'll see you all later.
All right, we'll end this very soon.
Yeah.
But I just want
See you
to
guys.
go
Yeah.
over a couple more guys. Zach Austin committed to Pitt. Do you have any thoughts on him?
No, I haven't watched him. I can't really give any thoughts on him.
Okay, that's fair right there. There was who else committed? We both think Olivier Kamwa is going to end up at Michigan. And
Yeah, I'm
we
pretty
discussed
sure
that a little earlier. How do you think
Yeah.
that helps Michigan out? Because I think he was a little misused at Tennessee.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's underused, but he was. I don't really like the way Rick Barnes like played him, and then you saw in that tournament game against Duke, like he can be like a really good player. Just how you use him at Michigan, though, I don't. It's a bit of a interesting. I mean, they're looking for someone to play a 4. So I think it'll be.
There's also a chance Dickinson comes back, right?
Yeah, I reported that earlier today. Actually, that he was he actually supposed to. Like I heard this from like actually someone that's like really like reliable on this.
You
kind of
don't
stuff.
you don't have to share it if it's private.
No. I reported it, so I'm gonna share it. That he's Dickinson is supposed to go on he's supposed to meet with Michigan in person, I think. Next week after he takes all his visits this weekend. So we'll see if that does anything. I don't really know why Dickinson. I think he hit the portal because he's just like he's sick of like trying to carry a
Wanted
team
to see
with
what was out there.
Yeah, with a coach it's like
Bad.
Not-
You can
not
say
good.
it's bad.
All right, dog. Coach is just complete
go.
dog. I said it.
Tyler Perry, he could end up at Florida, and Florida with him, Clayton, Kugel, Jarvis, and Hanlockton. Top 20.
Yeah,
That's top 20.
yeah. They're good. They're good.
There's obviously Hanlockton. I mean, that's an athletic big man who can swat shots, throw down dunks, really good out of that.
Yeah.
position.
I said that I like the way they hit the portal the most out of any school besides Arkansas now.
January, February, March, Golden. Florida back-to-back off-season champions, by the way.
Yeah, look what happened the last year.
I had them in my top 15.
Yeah, they were like my 21st best team in the country.
I was higher on them than you.
What were you? Would you have them? 17?
14.
Gee, oh my god.
14. I also watched like a lot of A10, so I was really high on Lofton.
Hey, you know what? You want to know what's shows you how much how much ball knowledge I have?
Yes,
is the fact that Riley Kugel, like, he came in as like the 100th like ranked player in his class. I was at Florida visiting the school. Thanks for rejecting me, by the way, Florida. I appreciate that. I actually have a Florida hat on right now, but Kugel, I was watching their practice when I was visiting there because it was like in August. And I walked in their practice, the doors were open, and like I was just watching, and I was like, damn, that Kugel kid is like, he's so athletic, bro. Like, dunk from everywhere.
The Florida fans that I talked to were super high on him before.
Yeah,
before practices started.
That's part of the main reason I liked them all is because I thought that their freshman class was like.
I liked them because I just thought their roster was super complete and deep. I thought they had guards up the wazoo. I thought they had an All-American big man, which they did until he stopped playing well.
I'm not going to speak on Colin Castleton. Buddy choked.
Yeah, I mean, he was playing like an All-American until he wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there with him. Also, they lost Reeves to the portal.
Yeah, and that was another thing. I thought he was gonna have a huge breakout year.
The thing about him too, he was supposed to go to like Boston College, like, and he just randomly commits to Georgia Tech. Like, come on, man.
If Kugel ends up like Reeves in terms of not having the breakout year we expect him, then it could be time to question the development that Golden's putting in with these guys.
All right, Riley Kugel though is miles better than Reeves.
I agree, and he had a better freshman season.
Let me see Riley Kugel stats.
What did he average?
8 points.
8, 9, but it was a lot more later in the season, I think.
Yeah, 9 points. He shot 46%.
37% from 3.
So listen, he started the year 5 points, 5 points, 1 point, 0 points. I was like, all right, why is this kid not playing? And then
I could pull up his numbers for like the last
20 his last couple games, 24, 20, 19, 21, 14, 13.
Here, hold on. Here I can look this up. For the last 10 games of the season, he averaged 17 and 4 on 49% from the field and 40% from 3.
Yeah, he's a stud for sure.
That's the Sydney Curry run. Like, obviously Sydney, different type of run. Like, I remember I said last year, Sydney Curry was the most underused player in the country. In the 4 games that he played 25 minutes, he averaged like 20 and 10. And then
do you know what happened with Kyle Lofton?
Like, what happened with him? Like
why is he like so mid this year?
It just didn't work out. Doesn't work out for everybody.
Same with the other guy I was high on for Florida was actually I was pretty high on
I was high on
Jones.
the entire team. Myron Jones. Yeah, I wasn't as big a fan of him. But whatever. Do you know anything about Lazar Stefanovic? I really don't.
I watched when USC played Utah a couple of times. I watched Utah. He's all right. He's nothing.
Just a solid wing scorer with like.
Yeah.
Skill set. That's what I've heard.
He's kind of inconsistent. So I can't. I don't think he's. I'm not gonna like.
It's all right. Yeah, I mean UCLA is not looking great. I mean you must be loving that as a USC fan.
Yes, sir. But I'm about to be a Tennessee fan, so
You could be both. You could be both. You could be a Lane Kiffin.
yeah, I'm deciding schools, so I'm looking Tennessee. Like, if
Are we gonna get a LeBron James decision show?
should I? I'm about to visit Tennessee tomorrow.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see if we'll see if you'll be in a different shade of orange from.
Maybe I'll be at Syracuse. Who knows?
Hopefully, that would be great. I'm looking for a roommate at this point, so.
Wait, are you double majoring at Q?
No, I'm not double majoring, but my minor is going to be sports analytics.
So what's your
broadcast
main?
and digital journalism.
Damn it, dude. Damn it. How do I get rejected from that?
Doesn't matter.
No, it does matter because it changes my entire thing. I guarantee you right now, if I got into that major, I'd probably already be committed to Syracuse.
That would be fun if you were committed to Syracuse. It really would.
Yeah, but and also Lidskin was in here. I had Missouri on my list, but I ruled him out already.
Damn.
I was in the yeah.
What do you think about A. Smith? Where's he headed?
Originally I said Wichita State. I thought he was gonna follow his coach, but I don't think so anymore. It's looking like Kansas State.
Yeah.
Kansas State, Big 12, Baylor maybe.
That would be good. Baylor, I like Miro Little. I think he's good. Underrated. I think he's a top 15 player, borderline. But if you get A. Smith, you get an all-American type point guard.
Yeah.
You can add to your roster. Obviously, he doesn't really guard much. And that's the issue I feel like I'm going to have with Baylor next year is I still don't know if they're going to guard.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like when they had Mitchell and Butler and Teague, those guards were everywhere.
Yeah.
I thought that was a well-oiled machine. They were not that defensively this year. And it showed. They were like, what, 70th ranked defense?
I have no clue with that. I'm going to be honest. I don't like Baylor. I didn't know Baylor was that bad at defense.
70. Like they were not a great defensive team last year. They were 13th in 2022, and then they were 107. They fell that far.
Oh, jeez, that's bad.
We got to get you on KenPom more.
I'm not into those analytics. You know,
it's not even that. It just helps you. It just helps you contextualize things.
Yeah, like
it helps you understand. Like it helps you talk about teams a lot better without watching every game of every team. You know what I mean?
But like the problem I have with it is like those analytic things is like why the hell is like in the net rankings I can't remember what team
the net is not
like why the hell is Boise State all the way up in like the 30s?
The formula for the net is not public, but Boise State was in the 30s but Boise State was straight up a good basketball team this year. They had a really good defense. They had they played really tough. And although I think that
wait, who'd they lose to again? I forgot.
They lost. I was thinking for a second. But like again, you got to remember this was a team that like they had a really bad start to their season. But after that, they were really good for a long time.
Yeah.
They also picked up like a couple.
Oh, they got a good transfer. I forgot his name.
Yeah, they got he was from UC San Diego. Roddy Anderson.
Yeah, he's good. He's a dog.
Whenever I see the name Robbie Barron, I can't not say Robert Barron. Like I can't.
Robbie Barron?
Yeah. I know because like he's listed right above Roddy Anderson.
Yeah,
I can't not. I know. I can't not think Robert Barron, like Gilded Age. My inner history nerd is coming out. Back to.
Wait, I just have a question. How much longer do you think?
Like 2 minutes.
Like because my thing's at 3%. I was just.
All right, so we'll wrap up right now. TJ, thank you.
No, give me one more question. Hit me with one more question.
All right, one more question for you. Where do you think? Just put it out there. Where's Hunter Dickinson gonna go?
Oh shoot, that's a big one. My prediction for Hunter Dickinson, I'm gonna have to go with Hold on. All right, I'm gonna say he commits to Maryland.
Okay.
I'm not-
And that's going to do it for our show tonight. We went a lot longer than we thought we were going to go. We went 100 minutes tonight. TJ,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on. We'll get you on later in the offseason,
Yeah.
during the season. We'll have plenty
Yeah.
of content coming from Mr. Content. Make sure if you're somehow not following him on Twitter, follow him on Twitter at CBB
And
Content.
Instagram.
And Instagram. Yeah, that's his big platform. He's got all the followers on Instagram. He's got like 137.
I'm trying to come up on
million.
Twitter, though. I'm trying to get
Yeah.
up on Twitter.
Hey, it's been working, but we're going to have, I mean, this is the next generation of college basketball media right here.
Yeah.
And we will bring it to you all off season, all decade, all millennium, until the inevitable heat death of the earth, or just when New York gets flooded by global warming, whichever one comes first. The latter probably is going to come first, but regardless, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you soon. We don't have a planned date, but we'll see you soon on
no
Bracket
problem.
Bubbles and Bid Stealers.
All right.